All right, folks, welcome on back here for the afternoon meeting this Thursday. I was about to say December. Geez, I'm tripping over my words right before we started. February 18th. Certainly, we're not in the month of December. It's pretty snowy out here in Long Island, New York. I don't know how it is by you folks, but I know that everybody is good to go. You're able to hear me loud and clear inside the trading room. Hopefully, good to go across social media, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Let's hop right into it. The JFU trade, it's like near the top of the gainers list. It's up 55+%, making a really nice move for a $3 stock now. It's $2 stock from the morning, now $3 currently. What's the news on this, you might ask? Well, let's just jump right to it on Benzinga Pro, one of our lovely partners here coming across our Cyber Expo marathon going on currently. So just make sure you jump right back to the Cyber Expo as soon as we're done with this meeting for anyone joining us live right now. But with that in mind, checking out Benzinga Pro's news feed, that's my favorite line. It's not Benzinga's fault. Keep that in mind. Just sometimes the stock will move up without any given news. But my favorite line here, JFU basically trading higher on above average volume, not seeing any company specific news to justify the price action. We don't necessarily need news, right? Nonetheless, you'd like to know why a stock is moving up the way it is. It could just be a natural short squeeze. This could be of high short interest already with it being pretty cheap. You might have some day traders like us looking to, push this stock up into the close. I know that we can't as a room, but we could certainly try and follow the smart money. Let me ask right now for all of us live on social media, for all of us, of course, inside the trading room right now, is anybody currently in this trade long? I would just say if anyone's in this trade, but I certainly hope that nobody's short on this stock right now. And Debbie says no. Skip says no problem at all. There's plenty of other stocks that we'll be going through. I always like to ask out of curiosity. We just made a nice pop going into this meeting. So we had this up on the screen just to begin. I mean, really pushing up right now up to 325 just about. Order on the ask off 330. I would consider a range of resistance to be off 325 to 330. And then from there, probably your next bigger iceberg level off 350. All right. So, of course, we'll just start off by putting the JFU on our list. Hopefully it keeps going. I don't be surprised if it makes like a higher low, if it ends up pulling back, shaking around a little bit there, and then pushing up higher, heading into the final 30 minutes of the day. All right, Joe here says inside our trading room, he's not currently in this trade here, the JFU, but he's very long on the HOL stock. So let's jump to that next. Speaking of more of like an afternoon move, this thing's just taken off on its own as well. Huge pop right from 19, squeezed all the way up towards the high at the time, 22.50. Pretty shaky minute by minute, I'm sure, but ended up developing a nice trend. It built around a top at first. It looked like it wanted to, and then it broke higher, and fortunately it kept going. Joe, let me ask, and for everybody else here, I mean, I'm not going to do this for every stock, but since you mentioned, Joe, you're very long, what price are you in from, and what price is anybody else if they're in this trade currently as well? Well, you folks, let me know that. I don't have it up for the HOL, but I'll jump right to the Benzinga news feed for this one too. All right, this is another one where there's no given news on this one, at least from today. I don't know if this is like a newer stock IPO. Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. Made a huge pop going back into early February here. Let's see. Yep, Astra to go public through a merger with Velocity. That's the company here. It's a $2.1 billion transaction, so to say. So that's what happened essentially on the second. I don't know if this is another special acquisition company, special purpose acquisition company SPAC. If it is, let me know. Either way, I mean, it made a really nice pop from earlier today, grinded on up towards 22. I will say though, just be careful. The spread, very thin tier size on level 2, very thin and spread out volume on level 3 on the matrix on the right hand side. Joe in from basically 20 right now, doing pretty good. All right, cool. Let's keep it going, Joe. Let's see another higher low. Let's keep this direction going here. Kind of looks like a head and shoulders beginning to build, more of a right shoulder than anything off 22. So you hope to see this really begin to squeeze back up pretty shortly, in fact. But for right now, yeah, I mean, the HOL will keep on our watch list for the afternoon for right now. All right, cool. So, folks, listen, I mean, we don't have class this afternoon, but we'll just start from the top. I mean, we have some other stocks that we could quickly review. The JAG-X trade, Jaguar. We'll jump to that, I'm sure, in just a moment. For any of the others that we ended up catching from earlier today, we'll go through pretty quick. I really want to start really with number one, just because, be honest, this morning was all right. I did all right more so heading into the late morning, early afternoon. Volume dried off pretty quick. So there wasn't really too many other stocks that like really stood out to me right off the bat to lead this meeting off with. So we'll jump into a couple of others as we just brush through this scanner here. So number one, the warrants for CAPA, I'm sorry, CAPA. We'll just jump to number four then at least here, CAPA regular. This is another SPAC, though, Special Purpose Acquisition Corp. This got halted for a little while, like pretty much right off the market open, and then it reopened up an hour later exactly at 10:30. Pretty interesting. And then from there, popped pretty nicely, but died off, volume died off. Little pop here heading into the early afternoon, but I feel like it will come back down and pull back. So for right now, yeah, I'm going to pass on this. The GTEC trade, I think the same thing with this as it was with the JFU. I could be wrong. Let me just double check. Is this no news given here? Oh, no, there is news here. I'm sorry. So GTEC basically, not, you know what? I'll copy and paste this pretty quickly for all of us on Facebook Live and YouTube, and for all of us live inside the trading room. I can't do that actually here. All right, so I'll recite it at least for right now. I'm doing it through a second like system network, so to say, so I can't copy and paste. So I apologize there. But basically, GTEC trading higher. They ended up reporting a deal with SOCMA, Organization to Support U.S. Production of Electric Industrial Vehicles, no terms disclosed. So seems like another EV-related company, kind of in the name, Greenland. But, nice pop from pre-market, died off. Shortly after the market opened up. I guess it did pop right away after 9:30. There was maybe some room to scalp, make some money there. It's not for me. Pulled right back down, though, fizzled out. Yeah, at this point, though, not really worth watching. All right, we'll keep it pushing the IMNM trade. Just tripped over that. I was going to say try saying that 3 times fast. I can't. We're going to skip over this as well. Same thing, big spread, huge spread on this. JFU, we already covered. This one already made the cut at least. The JFU trade still worth watching, pretty active. MOTS, a cheapie. VTGN did pretty nicely here. AVGR. So now we're getting to some stocks that might be more active here. So the MOTS trade, kind of dying off, but ended up making a really nice pop from the market open. Made a higher high later on, heading into the early afternoon here. Squeezed back off the low from 191 all the way up towards 275, just about. So I like the activity altogether, up and down, trading 35, 40,000 shares per minute currently. That's a lot. But I already feel like it made such a big move from earlier today. It's just, probably a good side list stock for tomorrow and next week or whatever. It is shortable. Oh, crap. I didn't even realize that. Wow, the MOTS trade is shortable on TradeStation at least. I don't know if it's shortable if you have another broker like IB, Thinkorswim, Tastyworks, whatever it may be, but that actually appeals to me more. What if it dumps off? What if it ends up just dumping off more? See more profit taking, more people selling or shorting. You know what? Actually, I'll give this a second look. All right, they'll sell me just to give this a second look at the end. All right, cool. The VTGN trade, we got the EBON trade from RJF on YouTube here coming up in a moment. This one also shortable, but this one more so making a better bounce heading into the afternoon from like 240-ish, 250. All right, I guess I'll kind of just keep it on the side too. Bunch of cheapies here on the gainer side, which is good. Hopefully there's some room for more activity. AVGR, if this was shortable, this would be near the top of the list so far. It's not, at least for anyone with TradeStation, but pretty much off the low of the day right now. Looks like it just wants to keep going lower, down to 2 at least. And if it doesn't, maybe you get a little bit of a squeeze back up. But just again, I want to see if there's anything looking better. So far, the JFU looks good. The HOL stock looks pretty good. If it's not on the top of the gainer side here, I do want to jump to Jaguar. We'll probably slip that on our list at the end. I'll tell you right now, I'm currently in one trade right now. It is the Jaguar trade. Let's jump to it actually right here. Number 35, I was looking for it. And then here's the EBON right above it. So the only trade I'm currently in right now, folks, live right now, I have my stop set already. So if it ends up tanking, I take like a 3-cent loss. I'm on double position though, 2,000 shares. It's the Jaguar trade here. I'm in essentially, it's pretty good entry. I'm in right off the 311. I endured a little bit of a shake going into this meeting right before we started. I had my eyes on it, and once it squeezed back up, pretty much right off that like white bar right here, I ended up setting my stop. We started, and so the reason I got in this trade just now, we were following it going into the early afternoon. A bunch of us did pretty well in this trade earlier from 3, got in from 3 or even 3:15 as it moved up higher. So I ended up missing a lot of this trade from earlier on, from the morning and from this earlier run heading into the afternoon. So first thing I'll say, like, this thing's already been through a lot. I'm more hopeful than anything for this to really continue and popping up to 350. But right now on level 4 on Bookmap, there really isn't much of a resistance to work off of just yet. Of course, there's liquidity to work with, like 320, 330-ish there. But there's a bigger order at 340. There's a bigger order at 350. So if all goes according to plan, then this can make a bigger move right from around this price, like 311-ish, 312. The reason I got in from 311, we had the opening bell print right off 310. So that's pretty much it. For anyone on social media, if you don't really know what that means, like, that's something we talk about in class. For all of us here in the trading room, we'll be talking about that coming up in the phase 2 stock course next week, not tomorrow. That's like phase 1, finishing up the beginner material, but phase 2 next week, we'll dig more into the tape, the time and sales, the opening, closing prints. I currently have 4 monitors, or I always have my 4 monitor setup here, but I have my trading platform. I have one trading platform on one monitor that has my position of Jaguar up here. I have this here to show. I have Benzinga Pro on one other monitor, and then right over here I just have like Bookmap. I have the stream here up. I have the trading room and so forth. So I'm just letting you know how I just kind of have everything laid out here. Dan saying the JFU trade already touched 350. So you know what? We'll actually just jump in between. I wanted to just skim through the rest of the gainers list just before we jump to the losers. But Dan saying the JFU trade while we were doing the meeting already hit 350. Did it? Yeah. Okay. So I guess we left off before it ended up hitting 350, Dan. This thing's definitely already on our list. We started off with this, just it was already on our screen to begin. I forgot where it was, like when we started, like right off 2. I guess it was like pretty much right off 3. So yeah, this thing ended up making a hell of a run right away after and still popping back up as of now. So it did make that pullback that I was expecting, a higher low perhaps, and look to see this build up right now. All right. Let's see if there's anything on the gainers side. Otherwise, that looks good. Churchill, CCIV, pretty expensive, but another acquisition company breaking all-time highs once again. So, for any of our level 4 to level 5 traders, I'll put this back on our watch list. This looks pretty good. Not for any of our like new students, new trial members. Spread's huge on this stock, pretty expensive anyway. You can't really trade a lot of shares to begin. It also is shortable. So if this does crap out the other way by any means, if we happen to see more selling coming in, perhaps off like 63.50, 60, even 63, perhaps this could really drop off down to 60 again, make for a good short opportunity. All right, cool. So let's see what else we got here on the losers end here, folks. I'll jump to the chat board just in a moment. I need to go that far. There we go. MD here. All these are shortable to begin, or hard to borrow, not shortable. Aside from the MD, these are not shortable. Yeah, so this MD here, I don't know what the news is on it. Obviously took a beating early on in pre-market, dropped off after the market opened, still kind of off its lows. Not a whole lot on the order book. That's the only gripe I have on it, and that's like enough for me to like skip this for right now. The SM trade seems like a lot better of a stock either way. It's not like off its lows just yet. It just bounced pretty nicely off its low now, off like 1094. But now already at 1125, I mean, it still seems pretty active either way. Just good spread, good liquidity on the book for right now. Pretty much right back to resistance, like roughly off that 1130 price you could see from earlier. Former support, likely to be a resistance here coming up. It has already, but don't be surprised if you get like a false breakout here coming up. Oh, my lovely right. Oh, I guess my scanner's reset. Oh, that's lovely. I was going to say my Riot trade, my lovely Riot right now, ended up taking a hit too, taking a beating. This one dropped all the way down below 60 and squeezed all the way back up. So talk about like a level 4 to level 5 stock to like keep in mind pretty much every day now. It's going to be Riot. It's going to be Mara. I'm not going to day trade these myself every day, but it just goes to show if you are watching them and if you are following our strategy, if this breaks under and over 60, you take that slingshot right there. It's a really quick profit. So if you know what you're doing, this is a really good stock to trade. Me personally, I know what I'm doing. I just rather trade a $2-3 stock and load up on like 2,000 shares. That's all. But nonetheless, though, Riot still pretty active. I wouldn't mind slipping this on our list still, kind of like I did with the CCIV. You know who you are if you're trading the stock. I always like to say that for any of these like more level 4 or 5 stocks out there. Probably the same for the FSLY stock here. This was always pretty pricey. Taking a big hit today. I don't know if this is off of bad earnings or whatnot. That would be my assumption. You know what? I got Benzinga Pro right below this screen. That's what that's for. Just says FSLY trading lower, reversing after the stock gained Wednesday following positive Q4 results. And it looks like Raymond James maintains outperform. They raised the price target to 95. Yeah, that's not that good. Yeah, there's got to be a lot more to it aside from that. Maybe like the lowered guidance. I don't know. If anyone knows more than me, just let me know here. But either way, I mean, hey, this still seems to be pretty good. I mean, for an $81 stock, I mean, I just said before, I'd rather trade a cheaper one, but the spreads are pretty good on this. For an $81 stock, not just the spreads, but you could see like a little bit of an order there at 81 on the bid. It was like 4,000 shares. So, of course, it's thin, but the spreads are there. Like out of all the expensive ones, this one piques my interest the most. See what this does heading into the afternoon. I kind of sold myself on putting this on the main list. SPWR, this one too. I mean, this one, much lower in price than that one, but good spread on the way down. Great setup as well to 37, 15K order on the bid. So I'll slip this pretty much near the middle to top part of our watch list for right now. SunPower. Just checking really quickly. I mean, I'm not going to add this to our list. Probably too pricey, but it's down a little bit, but not nearly as sharp as the SPWR. Normally, EMPH would make a similar move with SPWR. So always check them out. All right, folks, I think that just about does it from my end. I'll look at the signals page from Benzinga Pro, but if there's anything else that you see that's up, down, left, right, more than like 5%, just type it in the chat board. Let me know. Gene picking up. Gene's been on a tear. I got him into like a 5 or 8 cent loss earlier in our coaching session in pre-market, but he ended up right in the wrong there himself and picking up money all throughout the day today. Just picked up 19 cents now on the HOL stock. He was in from 21.46. There we go, Gene. Sorry about that. How about that? We'll talk about that for right now, Gene. Why not? The Hoth trade. Look at where this thing is now, Gene. If we didn't get out before we're if we didn't get out ahead of time, we would have been screwed on this trade. And that's like even from pre-market. We were looking at this from 350. We had this from 350, if I'm not mistaken. We were looking for a really clean entry off like a potential bounce. It was a quick in and out. We lost like 5 or 8 cents somewhere in between there. Just kept going lower. So, got to take the tiny loss at times in order to focus on better trades, right? That's it. The EVFM, let's take a look at that from Norman. Let's see. Nice pop. It's only up 1%, so obviously wouldn't have found it on the gainer side, but it is at the highs. It's at, a major resistance of $5. Stock from yesterday made a big move, so also probably just, on a few of our side lists here. It also is shortable, so if it does false break from here, that would be probably pristine opportunity. All right, so you know what? I don't have too big of a list here so far. I like it. It's more of a level 1 trade. Jaguar, I don't know if I officially put that on our main list, but that is moving up pretty well now at this point. The Jaguar trade, it's doing good. I don't think I even wrote that down, but just to let you know, I have that up on my other screen. I'm up just about 11 cents, 10 cents on it. So the hope is to see this keep going, all right? It's like not guaranteed, but if we happen to see a major iceberg order off 340, 350, and if all goes according to plan, this begins to, go up higher over time. Maybe make another higher low here soon, and then go. Look at that. We got a couple profits on QS, QuantumScape. Yeah, that was one that had earnings from Tuesday afternoon, that is. Continuing to go up. They were much higher in price, no? Yeah, they took a big hit back in like end of last year even. Wow. So yeah, squeezing back up right now, moving up really well. I'll put this in the same category as like the Riot trades. We have a lot of these expensive stocks that have thinner books, bigger spreads. As a level 4 to 5 trader, you know who you are. And for anyone that feels confident to trade this stock, do it on a very small share size just to start. If you're looking to dip your feet in the waters. So Jerry picking up 80 cents, Alex 74 cents. Both of you pretty much in from the same price off 71, both of you. Alex in from 70.96, Jerry in from 71 even. Nice, really good trade. In and out quick off the pop. It's like a scalp right there, right? So saw this going up still. You got to be quick, for as much as it's going up. You don't know when it's going to begin to move up, move down, or make a false breakout. So it actually held 72 perfectly and just took it right underneath the whole number. That's why you have to sell underneath resistance like that, folks. You don't want to try and get cocky or greedy and, look for a false breakout and then sell, and, just you waste profits that way. Sorry, I'm going from bottom to top here, so I apologize. Debbie's saying the HSTO right now. I'm sorry, that was from probably like a few minutes earlier. It's up 18%, just popped before the meeting. I don't know. It looks like it really fizzled out. This is like one I'd be more hopeful in going into the meeting if I saw it earlier myself. But now that I'm looking at it at this stage, even though it's like more afternoon move, it's really fizzled out at this point. I guess like we don't really have like a huge list so far. We don't need to have a huge list, but it's like still decent in the sense of spread, cheap. If it ends up making a good move, we want to be there to try and focus on it. Is there a price target on the GTEC? There is no price target on this thing. This thing looks like it's just going to keep dropping. We're not watching this as much heading into the afternoon. It already made its big move from earlier today, so we normally don't expect a stock like this to continue going. 15 would be a bit of a support level to watch just as a whole number and kind of like a psychological number, like a $5 incremental number. So, that's something to look at if it ends up, holding off there and maybe making like a micro bounce back up. But I wouldn't hold your breath looking for it. I think that there's just better opportunities heading into this afternoon than this. We'll see. I could be wrong. Oftentimes for these stocks that they make these big pre-market pops and moves. A, at 9:30, they dump off. And then B, at this stage right now, it looks like it just wants to keep going lower. It's got a ways to go to get back down to 12. All right, what else we got? I'm going to check on Benzinga Pro. So I was saying that before. You got the HLYN stock. Looks like this is taking off right now. Only up 3%. So I just saw this now pop up on my radar. Like a series of these highs coming up. So this looks pretty interesting. I hope it's not like a pump and dump type play where like it just craps out right now, but looks really sharp heading into the afternoon. I'd rather focus on something like this. SWTW and SWTW, SFTW. I don't know what's going on here. SFTW. There we go. Finally. This one seems pretty flat, Joe. The SFTW here. It's been a long week. Out of water right now. I'm tripping over my words. I apologize, folks. The EBON. Let's just jump to this really quickly from YouTube. Yeah, still, it just looks like kind of, very tradable in the sense of activity, trading over almost 200,000 shares per minute still. That's a lot. But just it already made such a big run up from earlier. It already pulled back. Maybe it makes a smaller move up back to 1250, but I'd pass. I just think there's better opportunity than this. Wonder what caused the ONTX to pop, asks Dan here in the Cyber Group room. I saw this pop up when I brought up Benzinga earlier, and then I got sidetracked and I didn't think about it. This is a familiar name that we traded just from the end of last year, going into the midway part of January, heading into obviously yesterday we traded it on the way up. Now making a sharper move here heading into the afternoon. This is like a really prototypical level one stock in the sense of the volume on the book. This thing has like 10,000, 20,000 share orders at every single penny level. Pretty crazy. So it's a good stock to learn off of and train as a new student, really. So whereas I was saying like CCIV, FSLY, the HOL, those are not like new stocks for new students, level one stocks for everyone to follow. This is a good one to trade. The HSTO stock that Debbie pointed out, that one made the cut so far. Those are good ones to watch as like a level one, level two trader perhaps. Like Jaguar is making that higher low right now, or I'm hopeful that it is making that higher low. It's beginning to pull back for the meantime. Still up like 4 cents on the trade. All right, folks, I think that just about does it. I don't think there's really much else that we're looking at here. I mean, the morning was pretty dry. We're heading into the afternoon. We have a decent list. I'm not sounding negative here, folks. We have a pretty good list so far. So if there's anything else that pops up heading into the end of this afternoon, we'll be there to call it out. We have our Benzinga Pro up. We have our TradeStation scanners up. We'll be there. All right. So for all of us on social media, get right back to the Cyber Expo. If you're tuning in right now, if you're on Facebook Live, make sure you hop right over to our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/cybertradingu. And I think that they're still going. I think there's a couple more presenters, or one more if I'm not mistaken, heading into 3 o'clock. All right. Aside from that, for all of us live inside the trading room, I'm going to copy and tweet the pics. I'll jump back on the mic in just about 15 or 30 minutes. Take care.